We are entering a period of financial crisis that is the greatest the world has ever known. The wealth transfer that will take place during this decade is the greatest wealth transfer in history. The great news is that all you have to do to turn this crisis into your great opportunity is to educate yourself. If you learn what is going on and how the financial world works, you can put yourself on the correct side of this wealth transfer. This program is all about creating your own crystal ball, being able to gaze into the future, being able to change this crisis, the greatest crisis in the history of mankind, into your great opportunity.
Gold is the only competitor to a national currency. You know, gold is money, and these national currencies are money substitutes that circulate in place of gold.
Gold is what protects the people from the reckless policies of government. Gold is the government's chaperone. The government wants to be able to do whatever it wants. Gold stands in its way. So yes, gold is an enemy of big government, but it's a friend of freedom. It's a protector of individuals from government.
It's not that the price of gold is going up, it's that the value of the dollar is going down. The price remains constant in terms of human effort and purchasing power. An ounce of gold today will buy the same thing it bought 2,000 years ago.
You know, if some catastrophic event happens, and we've seen them, how are you going to be protected?
The current financial system may be dying, but where there is chaos, there is also opportunity.
There are these brief moments in history where the safe haven asset for the last 5,000 years simultaneously becomes the asset class that has the greatest single potential gains in purchasing power. We're in one of these cycles right now where money is the best investment. Get out of currency, buy money, and you're probably going to be able to buy a whole lot more stuff later. Don't let the banks and the brokerage houses and other people guide all of your decisions. Find out what's going on for yourself, empower yourself.
There have been dozens and dozens of currency collapses since the end of the Second World War, and they all result from the same thing, you know, bad policies, bad management. And the U.S. right now is pursuing bad policies. Central bank is doing a bad job managing their currency. And as a consequence, it's inevitable that the dollar is going to collapse. It's on this road that I call the fiat currency graveyard.
But history has shown us that whenever a nation tried to run its economy using an artificial fiat system, the end result is always the same: disaster.
The dollar used to be backed by gold. It was gold that had the dollar. It's like everybody has tethered their ships to the Titanic of currencies. And so we're all going to go down.
Most people think that savings is smart, but my rich dad told me years ago that savers are losers. Now, I know this goes against the grain of what most people tell you, save money, save money, save money. But the reason savers are losers began back in 1971. And in 1971, President Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard and made the U.S. dollar the reserve currency of the world.
The strength of a nation's currency is based on the strength of that nation's economy. And the American economy is by far the strongest in the world. Accordingly, I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
By removing the link between gold and the U.S. dollar, President Nixon created a system where all currencies were backed by nothing. This is what is known as a fiat currency. The average person is now forced to borrow well beyond their means, getting themselves deeply into debt. At first, this was to maintain a nice standard of living, but slowly, it has become necessary just to survive.
One of the reasons we have so much economic volatility in our economies today, high gas prices, high food prices, stock market booms and busts, housing values going down, all can be attributed back to 1971. Plus, there are other changes. We do not really subscribe to the idea of being a saver. We think it's more important you learn to be an investor. You know, like if you had invested in oil 10 years ago, you'd be a rich person today, even though savers are losers. If you invested in gold 10 years ago, you would have been a lot better off. So if you want to get ahead, you need to not be a saver, but learn to be an entrepreneur or an investor.
There's a storm that's coming, and most of us are completely unaware and unprepared for it. We work to provide for our families, but the reality is that most of us are not making enough to protect our finances and legitimately plan for our futures. I knew that I needed to do something to protect what little money I did have, but there was never enough to hedge my savings. I felt stuck. I was always tired. I was working tons of hours. I had no extra money. I couldn't afford to spend time with my family. I had no time for my health. What I've learned about what's going on in the financial system in this country is dead serious, and it really scared me. I realized that I could lose what little I did have and put my family in a really serious situation. But through some research, I was fortunate enough to come across a program that deals with currency-grade gold from a company in Germany called Karatbars International. They have a 12-week business strategy where you have the ability in an all-encompassing strategy to protect your assets in something that is gold as money. And this system will help you acquire far more gold in a larger quantity than you could ever do on your own because of the challenges that most people face without having enough discretionary income. Right now there are thousands of people around the world who are leveraging this 12-week strategy, earning an extra stream of income, acquiring free gold from the Karatbars Dual Team system. It's all about sharing this information with others and allowing them to decide if it's of value to them. With our team, we've created a turnkey system where the average person without a ton of money or any experience can create success utilizing our techniques. So, fill in the contact information, we'll personally give you a call, let you know exactly how it works. Let us help you protect your finances and help you make the decision to be prepared to weather the storm.